Welcome to TypingWeb, the Oak Harbor School District approved keyboarding curriculum for students in grade 2 through 8. To begin working with TypingWeb, all teachers will need to create a free teacher account. That can be done from the main page of TypingWeb by clicking on Teachers Start Here. From this screen, you will notice that there is a teacher portal sign up. Be sure to include your school or use the district, your name, email, password, and then put your password in one more time to check for accuracy. Finally, you can select that you're a public school and sign up. You will immediately be directed to your teacher portal. In the future, if you'd like to access TypingWeb and it does not automatically go to your teacher portal, you will need to sign in again. This can be done in the upper right-hand corner. There's a student login, which your students will use, and there's a teacher login. Going to log on for the training account. And as you can see, there are no students in my classroom right now. You'll also see this welcome message that gives you some brief instructions. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we are going to go ahead and move directly to classes. I find it helpful to create the class first so that when you assign students or import them, you can automatically assign them to a class, which saves you a step. For this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and pretend like it's next year so that we have multiple classes, and I'm going to go ahead and just put that in and save it. You might also want to use a section or period number. You might even want to do groups if you have different times or ways that you'd like to monitor students in the computer lab or on Chromebooks or other devices in your classroom. Once you've created the class, you'll see a nice message that lets you know that it's created. Now, to add students, you can do that by creating or importing students using the button right here, or I like to go to the Students tab as it gives me 3 options once I click on Create Import Accounts. As you can see, this button is available in multiple locations, helping to create ease of access in adding students to your class. You have 3 options. The first one is to create individual student accounts. This involves inserting a username and password, as well as selecting the class that you would like to add students to. In this circumstance, if you create an account, you choose the username and then you can do the password. For the purpose of this, I am just using the same username and password, but I recommend that you use Student Star Logon or their Google Logon to help streamline the password and username process for both yourself and your students. There are some optional fields you can add if you would like to provide more information. Finally, click Create Student Account. As you can see, the student account was created and I can go on to add the next student. Now, if you're adding multiple students, I recommend option 2. This allows you to import multiple student accounts using a CSV file. Click Go to Student Import Tool. There are some very clear directions, and it asks you to upload a CSV file. If you're not sure how to create this file, there's a sample file that you can click on, and in my case it's already downloaded. So you go ahead and open it up. It's right here, and you go ahead and change the names. Once you've completed this process, you can delete any of the information that you would not like to include, since username and password are the only required pieces of information, and then you go to File and click Save As. It's important that when you save it, you give it a new file name so it's easy to find, and that you also make sure that you save it as a CSV, delimited file. Your computer might default to an Excel workbook, but it's important to go down, and in the list it's CSV, delimited. Okay, there are other CSV options, but it's important that you choose the one that's delimited. If you're unsure of the file name to save it as, the instructions remain on the TypingWeb window. You go ahead and save it. click yes, and go back to TypingWeb. Now that I've created the file, I'm going to go ahead and find it by clicking Browse, and here it is, OHSD test. And I'm going to go ahead and open it, and I don't want it to go to ungrouped students. I want it to go to my class for this year. Okay, says that all of my information is correct, checks are there. If there's a username that already exists in TypingWeb, you'll be notified of that at this screen. Go ahead and click Complete Import, and it says students are created. To double check that the students are there, you go ahead and click Students, and you'll see all of the students in your class. It also lists what class they're part of. If you'd like to view a different class, you can click on Change Class, or move a student to a different class. So I can move them from this school year to next school year, and then that student now lists in a different class. I'm going to go ahead and change them back. And then other options are to reset an account, which would eliminate all of the progress, all of the statistics for a student if you wanted them to start fresh at the beginning. Additionally, you can reset passwords if students are having trouble accessing their account. You can delete an account if a student leaves Oak Harbor School District, or the feature that I'd really like to draw your attention to is the Unlink Accounts feature. This allows you to remove students from your class and allow them to be attached to another teacher's class. This process is important for in between school years, or if you have a student that switches schools in the middle of the school year. To unlink the accounts, you would select everyone in your class and click Unlink Accounts. It lets you know that this process will remove students from your teacher portal, but the account will continue to exist and students can access it, for example, over the summer. Then in the fall, they can be reassigned to their new teacher's class very easily. We're going to walk through that process next. So they are now unlinked from my account, and I no longer have them in there, but let's say all of a sudden it's the next school year and I'd like to add students. So I'm going to go ahead and click Create Import Accounts again and go to option 3, which is to add existing accounts. So I know that they had the name OHSD Test 2 and the student would tell you their password, and in this case I had them all the same, and I want to add them to the following school year's account. Add student account. And it says the student was added successfully. So if I go back to students, I'm able to see that OHSD Test 2 was added to the class for the 2015-2016 school year.